Woo! What's happening, everybody? Bad Brad in the house, backstage with Bad Brad. And it has been a wild week. Salute to Dave Strong, who's here with the wrench. Salute to Paul, who is here with the wrench. Our wonderful moderators. And I want to start the night out by just letting everybody know to keep the chat. We keep the chat positive. We keep things light. Everybody have a good time, and let's try and have a good time tonight. All right. Let's see. The band doesn't want invited to the final Sabbath. Okay. Dan's talking about the Ozzy thing. Well, here's the deal, man. Scott, hi, great to have you here, brother. Scott Petrie. Here's the deal, man. With Ozzy passing, this has been a wild week, and I had to think back. I had to think back of my time, and there was never a time where I got to actually meet Ozzy, but there were several situations where I was Ozzy adjacent, right? There was one time I remember we were headlining the Roxy, and the rumor was Ozzy was supposed to come down and see the show. I don't think that ever happened. But we got Chris Michael J here. And look, here's the deal. I'll let you guys know right up front. My wife is, she's at a dinner meeting for a board of directors thing that she's on. So it's Dad, Brad here tonight. So at any point in time, I could get called away. But, here's the deal, man. Ozzy was such an iconic figure. And, there's some interesting stories in the members section of this channel of some, let's say, common dating interests with the Ozzy camp and the Bad Brad camp. So thank you, Scott. He's digging the new backdrop, man. We've got it dialed and styled in here, baby. We got P-Funk is here. He is part of the old school. Those guys are going away. Yes, P-Funk is exactly right. Who is going to replace him? Man. They don't make old school guys like that. Guys that lived by the creed. And hi, Mia. You have your snacks on the table. You want to say hi to everybody? It's just Dad and Mia tonight. So everybody say hi. Mia's eating cookies. Cookies. Mia, don't do that. That's people don't like that. Okay, now let Daddy go work, okay? You got your snacks and go watch TV, okay? I'm still gonna start, Daddy. I don't know where those are, and you're gonna have to wait till Mama gets home. Okay? So there's so that's going to make it challenging tonight to do the live, but we're gonna carry on. So that's the deal, man. Nobody's going to replace Ozzy. They don't make them like that anymore. But I saw something, whether it's true or not, I'm not sure. But I saw something that Youngblood said that he would sing Changes by Ozzy. He would sing that till the day he died in every show now to pay tribute to Ozzy. We'll see if that happens. But man, he really, in my opinion, kind of vocally stole the show that night. And man, you know what? He does have some of that vibe, but it doesn't have the same amount of testosterone. Even Ozzy knew to get a hotshot guitar player and a hotshot drummer and a hotshot bass player and go out there. And I think he especially learned that lesson when Van Halen opened for Black Sabbath. And I think that although Black Sabbath was such an iconic band and such a legendary band and such an amazing band, I think Ozzy understood that it's, you're battling the other bands. You're in competition with the other bands, and competition back in those days was fierce, right? So who is competing with Youngblood? Um, Nobody else I saw Young on that gig, could compete with him vocally. So FMP is asking if there's any new Jane's Addiction. No, I think it's all down to the courts now. Bo Dragon says, I have Badger Nation on my side. I don't even know what that means, man. Cheeseheads up in here. Cheeseheads. Well, yeah, that is true. My wife is a huge Green Bay fan. She's from up there, and Paul is from Wisconsin and all that. Mia, will you let Dad work? And if you let me do my work,
you have a great surprise to show all the viewers.
Okay. If you let Daddy do his work, then you'll get a good surprise after I'm done.
Okay.
Okay?
And
Deal?
I'm here to give you a tip.
Okay, what's the tip?
Okay, the tip is to look at my outfit.
Okay, we see your outfit, but you that's not a tip.
Toy.
Okay, yes, you can have a toy, and then
don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, and like everyone, Mia says everyone like and subscribe. Okay? So that was good. Thank you for that, Mia. All right, so everybody hit the like button on this stream. I feel like we've it is a great outfit. And man, I'm very lucky to have Mia at this point in my life. So it's time we remove the shades, or do I need to keep them on? Should I keep the shades on? Let me know in the comments. How about that? And you know what? Tonight's going to be a special one since I'm juggling so much. I'm going to have a little Red Bull tonight. What the hell, right? It does taste good. I know it's not good. I know it's not good for you, but it sure tastes good to you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Shades on, Paul says. Paul is the boss. The shades stay on, so we keep it rocking. Yeah, the blue Red Bull, dude. This tastes glorious. Yes, we are living large, man. That's what it is. Somebody says they have a Red Bull casserole. Never had a Red Bull, Dave. Wow. That's wild, dude. I remember when Red Bull hit the market, at least in Tennessee. And I was in a bar, right? And I was drinking, I was doing my usual knocking back the beers and, probably some shots. And I was with my dad. My dad was in town. And somebody said, hey, man, you need to try this Red Bull stuff. And they described it as an accelerant, a replacement for a common club accelerant. And all of a sudden, we're drinking Red Bulls, and we're getting fired up, and we're, it was like, all of a sudden, it was one of those nights, man, where the Red Bull was flowing, the vodka we started having Red Bull and vodkas because everybody was saying that was the combination, and we were all of a sudden very alert. I don't even know if it was like a placebo effect or we just thought that we were more alert, but it did seem to kind of ignite the evening. I'm guessing this was probably around 2001 or something like that, 2002. It was probably placebo effect. I don't even know if Red Bull even does anything for me now. I don't even know if caffeine even works on me. Stay away from the 5-hour energy. They'll goof you up. Okay, Darth. I appreciate that tip. What is your favorite all-around guitar out of all the ones you have on your wall? Woo, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. I tell you what one pops. Can you guess? Can you guess out of this wall which one pops on camera the best? What do you guys say? Which one pops out of all of these, right? Dude, the Gretsch, and it's not because I play it, a ton, but dude, this looks the best on camera. This thing looks incredible. And I tell you what, dude, this is made in Japan. This is like a top of the line Gretsch. It's got a ton of dust on it. I don't play it a ton. The one cool thing, if people don't know about these Bigsby tremolos, Bigsby tremolos are a pain in the butt because they have these pins, right? That you've got to like stick the string in the pin and then the pin goes in. It's all this kind of rigmarole to try to string it up. But this is a type of Bigsby that does not have the pins. So you can just run the string through, pull it around, and then string it up. So this, to me, that's the only way to go with a Bigsby. And it's got locking tuners. I think they're Goto locking tuners. And dude, this thing plays great. It plays great. It's got a unique sound to it. These pickups, it doesn't sound like a Les Paul. It doesn't sound like a Telecaster. It sounds like a Gretsch. Okay, Mia, let Daddy do his work tonight. Can you let me work?
I'm just trying to sing a song that I heard today.
Okay, what was the song?
It goes like this.
That's not a song, honey.
Streets, that's who I be.
Okay, you are singing Rat now. Mia is singing Rat. All right, Mia, I do need you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me do my job.
Sure.
Okay? All right, thanks, honey.
I'll just try to make a few clips with me being on.
You're in there. All right, so it's probably tonight that will be the case, Jay. But we will. Yeah, she was singing round and round. But yeah, this thing pops, dude. It just pops, and you start to realize like what really. And here's the deal, man. You got the purple. You got the purple sparkle, and the purple sparkle looks great up close, but from a distance, not as popping as the old Gretsch, right? And the same thing could be said for this. Here's another bling special, sparkle, right? Now this one's cool because it's got a mirror on it, dude. It's totally, dude, it's totally got a mirror on it, bro. Dude, the pick guard's a mirror, bro. Dude. But this thing pops up close. But when you get farther back, it's not popping as much. Maybe it's the way I've got the lighting in here. But yeah, that's the deal, man. That is the deal. So yeah, for right now, for the wall purposes, you gotta go with the blue Gretsch right there. Yeah, it is cool. The silver sparkle is cool. And that is a great guitar. Do you have a favorite Marshall amp model? I know the best one I ever had was a Fawn Tolex 50-watt Marshall head. If anybody out there ever finds a Fawn Tolex 50-watt Marshall head, open up the back panel. I love that amp so much. I signed the inside of it. I wrote something inside. And the thing that I all of a sudden just decided to sell it, and I bought a JCM 800, and the JCM 800 these were both eBay purchases. So the Fawn Tolex Marshall, and I think it may have been a non-master volume. I don't remember. I don't even remember the model, but it sounded absolutely incredible. It probably was a 4-input, and I jumpered the 2 channels. Finally got a Silver Jubilee. That's the same amp that Mike P. Funk Strong had. In a perfect world, we'd somehow get Mike a Silver Jubilee Marshall and have it delivered to his home. In a perfect world, we would be able to do that. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe one day we can make that happen. AP Funk. Hey Brad, here's the deal. Just scheduled a tip-top bass player, drummer, and keyboard player for a potential funky R&B group. Any advice for the first jam session? Okay, so top bass player and keyboard player. Any suggestions? Well, that's a great question, and this comes from the Express. I see your question, and this reminds me, man, a situation presented itself to me tonight to potentially put together that same kind of band down here, or bring some Nashville players down here to do that. If you've never played with these guys, you just start calling standard funk songs. Superstition, play that funky music. Gap Band, Outstanding by the Gap Band. That's a cool one to jam on. Let's see, what else? Any Stevie Wonder stuff, man. Parliament Funkadelic, Flashlight, Brick House, and Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself, and all of those tunes.
Look at the juice box.
Yeah, it's empty, and Mia, they don't really want to necessarily see that, although it is very endearing, honey. Thank you, honey. Let me do my job. So yeah, that's what I would. I'd start with the standards and go from there, man. And if it starts sounding good, then you're in good shape. You're in good shape. But here's the deal: I might end up playing some gigs down here. I don't know, man. We'll see. But yeah, that's the deal, man. Everything's popping. Superstition is a great jam. Yes, Scott says. Did that at the last Open Blues Jam. Superstition is a standard. And here's the deal. You'll start to establish some things if you play a song like that. I don't know if the guy asking the question is a guitar player or a drummer or whatever, but, play some Marvin Gaye. Play What's Going On. Play some Al Green. Let's Stay Together. That's a good one. Let's see how good these guys are. Start get Lowrider is another one. David is saying you should play some Suitcase Pimps songs. Well, here's the deal, man. Suitcase Pimps never did a live gig. And there's maybe one song on that album that I could probably pull off. But here's the thing, even if I play my own music on my own stream, YouTube is going to say, oh, that belongs to the person who released the album, and they would still try to demonetize my video. So, yeah, that's the deal.
Look at the cookie.
Okay, that's great, honey. Eat your cookie and let me work. Yes, I know you've got a cookie.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Now, please let me do my job. Thanks, honey. So, yeah, it's going to be one of those nights, man. I hope everybody likes interruptions. It's just going to be what it is, man. I have to, sometimes I get free reign to do what. Yeah, it was an awesome cookie, Dan. I tried to set her up with a bowl of snacks and a little juice thing, and she's got plenty of stuff in there. But we'll see. What about some Tommy Bolin? Tommy Bolin is amazing. But yeah, man, a guy who didn't, his life was snuffed out way too soon, man. I found a American Parker guitar and estate sale. Do you know anything about them? Big D, I don't really know much about the Parker stuff, man. I know it was very innovative at the time, and then it seemed to go away. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I would go on Reverb and do a little basic Googling and stuff like that, and make sure that you're getting something that's worth anything if you spend any money.
It's Pac-Man.
Okay, let's see. You made Pac-Man. Okay, she made Pac-Man. Okay, great. Thanks, Mia. All right, thank you. So that's the deal. I'm glad that Randy O is here, and I want to encourage everybody, if you have not seen it, to check out the live footage from the Rainbow anniversary party. It's on his channel.
It sticks.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Okay, let me do my job, okay? And so, yeah, everybody go see Odin, the footage on Randy's channel. It's great. It sounds great, man. You guys did an amazing job on that show, and man, everybody, make sure you check that out when you get a chance. Go, when you get a chance, you want to hear some live metal, put it on, crank it up, and just enjoy it, man. Dude, I met Randy O. I meant to call you after I watched it and just tell you what a great job you guys did on the whole thing, man. The video, the sound quality, everything. Okay.
Show them these.
I don't think that anybody necessarily wants to see shells. So please, Mia, if you could let me do my job. Thank you. Don't bring in any more stuff, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna make your video. Yeah, I'm pretending to be your assistant.
That I don't need an assistant. All right. So that's just the way it's going to be tonight, man. It is what it is. And we got 90 people in here, so let's get the thumbs up. Let's get the party going, man. Let's try and have some fun. And yeah, I need an assistant. Yeah, exactly. I need an assistant tonight.
Hi, I'm your assistant.
Mia, let me do my job, okay? Mia, if you don't stop, I'm going to tell Mother you were bad, and you're going to be in trouble, okay? Let me do my job, okay? All right, we'll give it a shot. Thank you, Randy. Oh my God, I had to take off my glasses so I could see. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. Yes, I am juggling. I'm juggling dad duties tonight, and I'm doing the best I can, but she's not. Thank you, Randy. Thank you so much, brother. I very much appreciate it. Thanks, Wave. Wave says let her do her thing. Yeah, I get it, man. Yes, Rhonda, thank you for being here. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Dude, did just watch Randy Castillo on drums with Ozzy. What a loss. Yeah, I was just watching. I watched a bunch of Ozzy footage over the last few days, and what great bands he had. Different bands, different players, great songs. The whole thing, man. There's nobody replacing that. You can tell me, oh, The Warning or Ghost or any of these bands. Somebody said Sleep Token the other day. I haven't watched Sleep Token yet, but nobody's putting on shows like that. And I don't even think Ozzy was the greatest showman of all time. I think he was a great spectacle, a great act, an incredible metal singer, an incredible presence. But, he's not jumping off the drum riser with a six-pack like David Lee Roth, right? So, the deal is, but there's nobody coming to that level anymore. There's nobody putting on training. I mean, they used to say David Lee Roth would be stretching for like 3 hours before the show back in the day. Nobody's doing that anymore. Nobody's even thinking about doing that. No one is in that kind of shape to even do that. So, and as far as the rebellion, and as far as living that mad, crazy lifestyle, man. Now we all realize that was not a good thing, man. That's not gonna take you down a good path, But Ozzy certainly he certainly lived it, man. He certainly lived it, and man, it's no one's gonna replace that dude. Scott says his first concert was Ozzy and crew. Now, wow, that was epic. That was epic. Has anybody else out there seen that tour? I hear you, Hank, and I don't agree. I don't agree with that either. Hank is saying he doesn't like the promotion of the devil and all that kind of stuff, and I don't either. And that's where a lot of those acts lost me. I listened to Ozzy a little bit, and certainly was a fan of Randy Rhoads and his playing and stuff, but the music was just a little too dark for me personally. And that's why I would lean more towards a Van Halen with their bright harmonies and some of the little more majory sounding. Now, of course, Van Halen had Running with the Devil and some salacious stuff as well, but not on the same level that Ozzy was. Ozzy with his crosses and caskets and bats and all that kind of stuff. That was a tough thing for me to accept, knowing that I'm ultimately going to side on the right side. I'm ultimately going to lean towards living a good life and try not to end up down there. Try to end up here, without judging anybody or any of that. That was a hard thing for me to come to terms with. And so, whatever Ozzy did, I would always go, okay, that's really cool, or that's a good riff, or there's a great guitar solo, or you'd see what they do live, and look, dude, here's a memory for you. And I've told this story before, but I worked the pit at an Ozzy show. I believe it was Joe Stump on guitar. It was, I think, Geezer Butler on bass. I think it was Mike Borden on drums, or it could have even been the crab dude from Metallica, Trujillo or whatever his name is, on bass. I have to look that up as far as the specifics of the band. But I worked the pit at an Ozzy show, right? And so I saw the whole thing. I was literally like looking over my left shoulder, and Ozzy would be like right there, and the guitar player's right there. So while I'm, dealing with people climbing over the pit and doing all that stuff, I'm also glancing back and like watching the show. And so I've been that close to an Ozzy performance, and seeing how it worked the crowd up into a frenzy, But here's the deal. This was sort of a lull at that point in Ozzy's career. And he played Municipal Auditorium in downtown Nashville, and it was not packed. It was not sold out. And Korn opened for Ozzy. And Korn, nobody knew who the hell Korn was. Korn was this new band, and they had dreads. The singer had dreads, and it's like slap bass, and it was really weird. And I could tell the audience didn't quite know how to interpret this. It was almost like a negative reaction. The crowd was not really that into Korn. They weren't a big band at the time. And I remember that night. I remember learning a lot about power, learning a lot about all of these things you learn at concerts, doing things like that. Working the pit, being in the pit working security, or being the bouncer on stage at a Rage Against the Machine show, right? Being that guy like this, on stage, similar presence as now, and then years later, being the dude on stage with the beard and the hair and all that. See, that's a weird juxtaposition, but to experience both of those things, being the I told this when I was out in LA, one of the last times I was out there with Colt Ford, and we played the House of Blues on Sunset, right? And we had this swank hotel down right across from the Beverly Center. And these the guys that were the bellmen and stuff like that were at the hotel, and they saw me coming out, and let's just say I had some interesting company with me, and we're getting picked up, in a tour bus and all this stuff. And I talked to one of the bellmen, and I said, "Hey, man, I used to do your job. I used to be a bellman at La Park, right around the corner, literally 2 or 3 blocks from here. And I was carrying rock stars' bags, and I was parking their cars and doing all that. And now I'm riding in a tour bus and doing all this." So it's weird to see those. You can be one, you could be everything in life, experience things, at the bottom level, and then experience it up here. But eventually, man, you still end up, you're just yourself. So people are saying Mia's been quiet, but I told her be good, or else I'll tell mom she wasn't good, and that got her to chill out. But Big D says he saw Ozzy with Black Sabbath. That I bet that was amazing, at the Cleveland Coliseum, 1979. He had a small bar on the side of the stage. Now, Big D brings up a point, and this is something I brought up with Michael Devin, who there's an interview if you're a Rockstar member of the channel. He's the former bass player of Whitesnake, and I did an interview with him, and we started talking about booze on the road, right? Well, imagine that every night, and you would have a rider, right? So every time your bus pulls up to that different club, and let's say you're on a tour where you're playing these rock clubs and stuff like that all across the US, each night you pull in, it's the club's responsibility to give you bus stock, right? Bus stock is the stuff that's on your rider, right? So let's say on our rider, it would be 3 cases of beer, 2 bottles of Jack Daniels, a bottle of tequila, a bottle of, whatever, Jägermeister, because somebody in the band wants Jägermeister, or Fireball, or whatever. Here's a guilty thing that I did. I got to a point where I thought that if I drank Fireball, the sugar would keep me awake, so I wouldn't pass out drunk, right? And that I could drink more. So I was drinking cups of Fireball like that on stage, just full, and I would literally feel like I was embalmed the next day from drinking that stuff, because it's crazy. But each night you pull up to that next place, and they restock your bus, 3 cases of beer each night, bottle of booze, this and that, 4 or 5 bottles of booze, sodas, water, chips, then the pizza. The pizza that gets loaded onto the bus at midnight. At midnight, it's the pizza. So every night, that same cavalcade of stuff, and it's the never-ending cooler of beer, right? And if you've got a couple days off, and maybe those are travel days, and you're on the bus and you're traveling to some other spot or whatever, and you didn't say you're on the second day, and you didn't restock because you didn't do a show, you start getting in that cooler and there's beers in there, like, oh no, no, I don't want that. It'll be some weird craft beer from some bar, in some town. It'll be like, you know, rotten dog ale or something. Like, I don't know. Just, here's the thing, man. You don't want to be drinking anything unpredictable on the road, right? You want to know that whatever you're drinking is something that you can handle. So, yeah, Leah, Laura is saying, yeah, Fireball's awful. It's being sold in Kroger in the Nashville area now. Oh my God, Laura. Wow, I can't believe they're selling it. They're selling it in Kroger? That's crazy. Yeah, we used to do Jaeger bombs like crazy. We would have Red Bulls. That was one of the things that would always be stocked on the bus because people, man, you got to manufacture energy, bro. So I can't believe that, Laura, that they're putting Fireball. Now look, we've got 114 people in here. That's friggin' incredible. But let's get the thumbs up, right? Let's do it for Ozzy, if not for me, right? There is a non-whiskey version of Fireball. It's the cinnamon wine. Oh, that sounds disgusting. I can't even imagine trying to drink that now. I can't even imagine. I mean, dude, I would have 2 beers now and I'd be out of my mind. This is a good diversion though. So that's the deal, man. That's the deal. And more Mia, more viewers. Leah, I don't know, man. I don't know. One of these days she's gonna have to have her own channel. That's the deal. 3 beers is all I can take these days, Dan says. Here's the deal, dude. When we were on the road, dude, 3 beers wouldn't even, that's nothing, dude. That would be nothing. But now, 2 beers, 3 beers, and I would be toast, dude. I would be toast. John is saying, stop putting that poison in you and point up for Ozzy. I'm going to point up for Ozzy now. I will do that, John, and I'll do that for you. I'll do it with this finger, and I'll do it with this one. And I hope that Ozzy accepted the eternal life, and I'll just put it there. I don't think John is a hater. John is a regular viewer of the channel. So yeah, we're all good. But yeah, point up for Ozzy. And man, Rhonda is saying I believe he did. I did see people saying that. Look, I just don't. Jay is saying I think he did. I hope so, man. I want the best for everybody and positive vibes. Let's have positive vibes. Paul is the lead moderator on this channel, and he keeps us in line, and we're very thankful for that. And sometimes I need correction and all that, because here's the deal. This is not a typical music channel. This channel is, yeah, sometimes I play guitar. Sometimes I might show some riffs. I demo gear and all of those things. But it's also a talk about the lifestyle, right? The lifestyle of a musician. Any guitar player can do a video telling you how to play the pentatonic scale, but not every channel can give you the inside look. Think about this. How many guitar players have worked the pit at an Ozzy show and then played some of those same arenas that Ozzy played? There is nobody else that's done that. How many guitar players have played the Sunset Strip and then played in bro country touring acts? None. So you have to use your strengths, but in being a different music channel, yes, sometimes we cover controversial subjects. And the same thing I ask that everybody that watches this channel, We don't like to talk about unpleasant things, but sometimes unpleasant things have to be talked about. And when we do need to talk about them, we sometimes use code words, right? We sometimes use codes for things. And people that are understanding can understand what we're talking about. And Freddie B is saying 3 beers and toast. Well, look, Freddie, here's the deal. When you haven't had a drink in, how long has it been? I don't know, over a year for me. 3 beers, dude, it makes a big difference if you haven't been doing it. So yeah, I wouldn't be toast, but I would be buzzed. Let's just say I would be buzzed. And I don't think I would enjoy it. So somebody asked a question, did Lemmy out party Ozzy? And I would say that Lemmy out consistently partied Ozzy. I think Lemmy was much more of a very consistent partier that had what he did, and he knew how to craft the buzz that kept him going, right? And I don't think he didn't go over the top, whereas Ozzy would constantly go over the top and then have to reel it back in, and go over the top and reel it back in, and rinse and repeat. Lemmy struck me as a guy that would have his drinks, his accelerants. He'd go home, fry an egg sandwich, maybe try to sleep a few hours, maybe stay up a couple of days and continue, right? Whereas, and I know for a fact, Ozzy would have to be reeled in and take breaks. There were times he was sent to rehab and stuff. I don't think anybody ever tried to intervene on Lemmy. Lemmy just consistently was Lemmy. And he didn't bite bats' heads like P-Funk says. And, he just seemed to be very consistent. The amount of times that I would go to the Rainbow, and maybe I hadn't been in 10 years, and I would go to the Rainbow, and there's Lemmy. He had a pace. Rhonda's saying he had a pace. Yes, he could pace himself. And what are the odds? What are the odds that every time I went to the Rainbow, Lemmy was there? What are the odds of that? For somebody that takes a break or has a family, I mean, I would say there's a lot of guys that live out in LA and they were regulars at the Rainbow, and they're not regulars anymore. They don't go there anymore. It's kind of that place that's become like a time warp in a way. And I love that place, man. And I love the Strip. I would like to see the Strip have a resurgence. But Lee says he played the Rainbow once. Well, look, back in the day when we were going to the Rainbow, the upstairs area, and this is for all the people that are curious about this, and Randy, if he's still here, can back me up, and P-Funk can tell you the same. You'd go upstairs in the Rainbow, and there'd be another bar. There's this other bar, and this other darker like room. And it had these booths kind of up top. Now, I think that's where the Hollywood Vampire group would all sit up there. But when I was going there, that whole area would be these mobster-looking guys with the shiny suits. They look like record execs or mob guys or whatever. And they all be up there with like what looked like adult film actresses. And it would just be a whole table of that. And here's the thing. you know, you had the girls that were the girl next door or that teased her hair out to go to, you know, the Sunset Strip or whatever. And you had the rocker chicks and stuff like that. But then you'd seemingly have this other level of these look like professionals. These are professionals. And that would be that upstairs area where bands play now. Back in the day, that was like a little dance floor down there, right? And the dance floor area was, they would have a DJ and he'd be playing tunes and you could go upstairs and then go dance up there with the Chang, and then everybody had the downstairs area with the thing. Now give me 1 second. Yes, honey, I'm busy.
Okay.
Give me 15 more minutes, okay? So the rainbow, the vibe of it's changed because back in the day, the rainbow was smoking. You know, you got to remember, back in the day when we were coming up, people were smoking in clubs. You know, and that was a different vibe. Like you'd be in there, people would be eating, they'd be smoking, they'd be drinking, all in the same room. But once they passed that whole no smoking thing, once they passed that whole no smoking thing, all of the people that smoked and whatnot, and that could be other things besides tobacco, those people all went on the patio. They created this patio area where all the smokers, and all of a sudden that's where everybody hangs out. And that's where Lemmy's lounge was. That's where Lemmy would sit. But Lemmy used to sit inside at the bar. Now, Erickson asked a second ago whether I ever hung out in the VIP area. No, not at the Rainbow. But, you know, for the most part, most of the rock stars all hung out in that dining area. That main dining area would be where everybody hung out. That's where most of the action was. So, you know, I never saw Ozzy at the Rainbow. And, you know, I know he must have went there. Now these are Bad Brad, Altoids. These are Altoids. I'm doing it like I was singing a gig. I've got one in each jaw, and you got them there. It keeps the throat lozenges. Let's see what we got. Rhonda says, Brad, what was your favorite place to play on the Strip or in LA area? The Roxy was the number one place to play. It was right next to the Rainbow. It was the, I don't know what the proper word is. It seemed like a bigger deal back then. The whiskey was kind of, I mean, we played the Roxy a lot, and we played the whiskey, and we played Gazzari's, and we played the Central, which is now the Viper Room. And then we played the Troubadour down on Santa Monica, but the Roxy were the better gigs. That was the cooler place. And I can remember playing the Roxy, and at the end of the night, they come up with a bus pan filled with ice and cold beer. And I think they brought up a Domino's pizza or something. That was like payment for the night. Thank you, Erickson. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for helping out tonight. Appreciate it, brother. So, you know, the Roxy just, to me, I think it sounded better. I had a better sound experience at the Roxy. To me, it was a good sounding room. The whiskey is different. It's just a different layout, but the whiskey was equally awesome. Now, 1 second. Yeah, I will come out when I'm done. Okay, let me finish. All right, I love you. I love you. Let me finish. Okay. So yeah, That would the Roxy would, and I think the same thing. The same when I asked Billy McCarthy from DeMalls, and he said, "Which did you like the best?" And we both agreed that the Roxy was the place. So yeah, that is the deal. Yeah, Domino's at the time was okay. It was okay. Um, so it was just, here's the deal, man. They should have gone to the Rainbow and brought us a rainbow pizza. But I think it was like here's the thing. I think back in those days, no, the pizza would be brought at sound check. And we would get a pizza. So we would do sound check, have a couple slices of pizza, and then because we lived close enough, we would go back over the hill, go back to the shock house. Everybody could rinse off, squeeze into your tight pants, put a little extra cologne, because if it smells like cologne, they won't leave it alone. And it'd be like the Italian shower. You want to go up there sweet smelling, and then all your stuff would be set up at the Roxy. I mean, I was lucky, dude. I didn't have to do opening gigs, playing at 6 o'clock and all that. I was lucky to just jump into something that was already, kind of popping. Did you or anyone get spiked by rival bands, etc.? Spiked by them. I don't even know what spiked means. Holly, glad to have you here. I don't even know what spiked means. Everything smelled like cigarette smoke. Here's the deal, David. Back then, we wouldn't even notice that we smelled like cigarette smoke. We wouldn't even notice it because it was just hairspray and smoke. But you know what? Everybody was a lot thinner then. The thing about, and I'm not condoning people enjoying tobacco products, but the thing about tobacco products is they're an appetite suppressant. So if everybody, instead of grabbing a chip or a piece of candy or whatever, or a mint, back in the day would, spark up, Johnny, we got a gig tonight. People seemed a lot thinner. I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But let's see. It did keep folks thinner. Very true, David says. So I think there is some truth to that. Well, we were all trim, and I didn't smoke then either, really. Every now and then, you might bum one off of somebody, but cigarettes for me was never a thing that I couldn't put down. I know a lot of people have a tough time with that and used to have a tough time quitting and all that. For me, it was something I could have one or I could not have one. Let's get the likes up. Yes, we got 82. Now, we are getting close to the finish line. I'm not going to be able to go overtime tonight because I'm dad bradding it up. But here's the deal. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have Dave Pomeroy, the head of the Nashville Musicians Union, the local 257, a bass player that has played on over 500 albums. I think he's got like 6 Grammys. It's going to be an epic interview. And here's the deal, man. You got in the members section of my channel, you got Roy Vogt. He's the head of the bass program at Belmont University. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to air the Dave Pomeroy interview that's been in my members section for a while now. He's the head of the Nashville Musicians Union. I'm giving you guys the keys to the kingdom here. These are the guys that know what the hell is up in Nashville, right? And so if there's any younger cats that are watching this and need to know how Nashville works and whatever, these interviews and things And I know it's a different time now, and we're old dudes and all that, but these guys are still plugged in and they still see it happen every single day. So for everybody that's watching now, make sure you tune in tomorrow and watch that interview with Dave Pomeroy. It's going to go live at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And who knows? Maybe I'll do a live tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. I know I'm going to get a few hours, a couple hours while they go to the movies. Maybe I'll go live tomorrow. I don't know. If I do a random live, it will be a pop-up. But here's the deal, man. We got more and more cool stuff coming. I've got, I just released the IRJ demo on my channel. The IRD demo is going to be up on this channel this week, and there are good things afoot. And let's see what Chris Richardson says. Brad, have you seen that Yngwie Malmsteen now has supplements to add to his gummy line? Yes, I have seen that, and I think that's amazing. And look, here's the reality. People get mad when you're selling things. And thank you, Freddie. Yes, those things are amazing. He said he liked the IR demos. Look, man, Yngwie's got gummies. If I could find a supplement that I felt worked and I would have something, maybe one day I'll put out a gummy. I would like to get together with a pedal company and create a signature drive, but I know I've got to build this channel to at least get 100,000 subscribers and get it active, have everybody active. And if I can think of a product, whether it's supplements or a unique take on a tube screamer or something unique, or you overdrive pedal or whatever, I'm gonna have branded stuff as well. You can already support the channel by buying t-shirts. You can always use the Sweetwater link in the description of this video, or the Amazon link to help the channel, or you can buy me a coffee. These are all things that we have here. And 1 second. Mia, I need 3 minutes. So we are literally down to the hour. Yeah, we are literally. Yeah, she's holding out. She's waiting on me to finish. But Ace Gummies. Oh, Chris, thank you so much, brother. Thank you. Here's the deal, man. I don't think if I could come up with the product that I think is a good product, then I say go for it. I don't know the quality of the Yngwie gummies or anything else for that matter. But would I buy an Yngwie overdrive pedal? Abso-friggin-lutely. Would I like to have an Yngwie Strat? Yeah, absolutely. So those are great products, and we're out here. YouTube doesn't pay enough, so we have to do Amazon. We have to do affiliates. We have to sell t-shirts. And every little bit helps. So, man, I want to thank everybody that tunes in every time. Always comment on the videos. Always hit the like button. Always hit the thumbs up. I want to thank our moderators, Paul and David, for keeping everybody, tip-top tonight. Darth is saying, Brad, we still want to know which guitar is your number one. Well, Darth, here's the deal. And we just got a little tip. Let's see what we got. Chris, thank you so much. Take Mia to get an ice cream. That's a great idea. We are going to, we will probably do something like that. Gonna guess the red Strat, Scott says. Look, man, can you pick your favorite girlfriend from your past if you're not married? Can anybody do that? I mean, I would hate to think that I gotta pick one guitar, and normally it would be the red Strat there, the all beat up Strat, but it needs some help in the playability department right now. I picked up this Les Paul the other day. It plays great. The purple Strat, it plays amazing. I love the Music Man. I love the turquoise Gretsch. I absolutely love this telly. This custom shop, whatever the hell it is, telly. Look, I don't think the finish looks great. I don't like the fake wear on it or whatever, but all I know is when I play this thing, it sounds like butter. It sounds like the shh. So that's all that really matters. None of the look or any of that matters at all. What matters is if you pick up something, does it sound good? Does it feel good? And you know what? This is a great axe, as are everything I've got up on this wall. Every piece that's on this wall. But I've got some other ones that I like as well. So Erickson is letting me know it's now time to sign off. Thank you, Erickson. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. Thank you all that chipped in tonight with the super chats. Thank you, Freddie B. Thank you, Holly. Later, everybody, have a great evening, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow. But see me tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Dave Pomeroy Musicians Union President. That is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning. I'll see you then. Peace.